Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dollpreneur Podcast, where we're here to celebrate creativity, passion, and entrepreneurship of doll creators from around the world. I'm your host, Georgette Taylor, and today I am so excited to introduce you to CJ Charles. She is the founder and CEO of the bilingual children's brand, My Mother is a Superhero. Yay! Yes, we are. And as you know, now is a dollpreneur with the creation of the Justine plush doll, inspired by one of her book's characters. So, CJ, thank you so much for joining me on the Dollpreneur Podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an opportunity and it's such a pleasure to be here to talk to you and to your audience. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Let's start from the beginning. But before we get to your beautiful, amazing creation, Justine, I really just wanted to share a little bit about your background and experiences, that shaped you into creating the book first and then the doll.
Well, thank you so much. So everybody, I'm CJ Charles. I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised. I started writing books and stuff like that as early as first grade. So I used to attend Catholic school in LA when I was little. And, we always had weekly vocabulary words and
Yes.
we had to make a sentence, but I've always been extra. I didn't realize I was extra until I got older, but I've always been extra. And so I would make little stories instead of just making the sentences. I was like, anybody could do a sentence. So for me, when I think back, it really started right there with writing. And then as I got older in junior high, we had a school newspaper. I'd write for the newspaper. I would take stories in the Bible and I would rewrite them because I went to Catholic school. And I realized that's when I fell in love with words at a really, really young age. And so I was in graduate school and we took a class on how to write books. And we had I think like 2 weeks on how to write children's books. And so I was thinking about all the stuff I liked. And I've always liked superheroes, X-Men, Superman, Wonder Woman, right from the 80s. But I was like, well, I can write a little book. So I started writing the book about 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I know the first one is always going to take longer than the ones that come.
That's true. Yeah.
Just because I wrote it 8 different times. There's 8 different versions of the story, and they just wasn't it. Like I knew that wasn't it. So during COVID, I had some time, had a lot of free time to sit and synthesize all those stories down to one story. And my mother's superhero was born. It's based on my mother, Alice.
Aww.
So she is the superhero. And
That's
I sent the illustrator. She feels, she gets a whole book to herself, so she feels some kind of way. But I'm the little girl, so I'm Justine, and my mother's superhero, and so it's just become a thing. So initially, it was just like it was a school project, but I wrote it for my mother to say thank you for being a single mother in Los Angeles. And since we've been out the last 4 or 5 years, so many mothers, the story has resonated with so many people that it really has been bigger than what I initially thought of it as. And so now it's a thing, and I teach, and so I can use it in my Spanish 3 class, and other teachers have taken the book and broken it apart and created worksheets and all kind of really cool stuff with it. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's become a thing.
The celebration of my mom has become a thing, which I think I think celebration of mom should always be a thing, right? I mean, I think that's
I didn't know that it was abnormal. I didn't realize how many mothers felt unseen and unappreciated when we go out in public and people are like, "Oh my God, that's me," or they, there's a page in the book that resonates with people. And so my mother and I started looking at each other like, there's a Sri Lankan mother who feels this way. There was a Mexican mom who felt this way. There were, European moms that felt this way. And I was like, wow, I didn't know this was a universal feeling and experience.
Wow.
And so it's become bigger than both of us.
That's so interesting, though, that like you said, that you thought that there wasn't, that everybody didn't see their moms that way. No. I think that's really interesting. I know you're a bilingual teacher. And so do you have the book in Spanish too, as well as English?
Yes. So what we did was out the gate, I wanted to create one book because that's literally all I could afford to print. It was born out of necessity, like in all honesty. So I had one shot at the illustrator. I had one shot at the printer. So we put the book in English and Spanish. So it's 2 books in one.
Oh, nice.
You have your Spanish book. Yeah, it's your Spanish side and the English side. And what's really neat is that I'm the teacher in me. I made vocabulary words. So I would highlight a word in English in red and highlight another Spanish word in blue so that people could see what the translation was. So some people use it to help them learn Spanish. And
I probably would do that. That's for sure. My Spanish was terrible in school. I don't even know why. And it's so funny because my son is actually half Puerto Rican. You would think
Okay.
I would know Spanish, but yeah, girl, no. And I grew up in the South Bronx, so I mean, you would
Oh,
think I would
wow.
know Spanish,
You
but
have an
I
opportunity. Oh, the
but
whole.
but I don't. But I'm gonna buy it for my grandson. So because
That's so sweet.
he's actually Puerto Rican, Mexican, and Black.
Okay.
So and I think he really needs to like learn a little bit more of Spanish, but he loves reading books. He loves reading books, and his
Oh, I
and
love
my
it.
son loves reading books to him, and so does his mom. So I think this would be a great book for them to read together because it
Oh,
does have the English and Spanish version, which I think will help him so much, and just help so many other children too who have a curiosity of learning to speak other languages. I think that's
absolutely.
wonderful. I love how you
Oh,
did that.
sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was just born out of necessity, literally.
So okay, so you took this, these characters, and you created Justine. So
Yes.
why did you feel that she was important to create from the book? Because you're going from not just being an author now, you're going to
Yes.
creating a doll. So what was that
Right.
transition like for you, and why did you think that was needed?
So the transition has been challenging. It's a lot of barriers to this community, right? There's a lot of barriers to the toy industry, not only being African American and looking African American, right? Because
Right.
that's two different things too. But
Yes.
it's also they don't want women in the industry. It is a
Mm,
male-dominated toy industry, and some
hmm.
people feel like Black toys won't sell, Black plush won't sell, Black people can't create. I mean, it's crazy. But no, so when we would be out the first 2 years, people would ask us, "Oh, do you have a doll? She's so cute. The character's so cute. The character's so cute." And I think the character is cute, but that's me, putting my heart into it. So I of course like seeing your ugly baby. You think the ugly baby's cute? So more and more people have had this wonderful reaction to her. And so I just started looking into how do you make a doll? I
Hmm.
didn't know anything about making a doll. I've made dolls out of old socks as a little girl,
Right,
watching my
right,
mother, my grandmother
right.
sew.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever little material you had in the house, you can make a little doll from that. But I hadn't had my own. And as a little girl, I had two Black dolls growing up, and they're the same two Black dolls I've had for 40 years. And they're not ugly, but they're not
Right.
as cute as I
Hmm.
knew. I see the little Black girls in my class are cute, or the little Black
Right.
girls in the street are cute, but they're my dolls, I love them. Even the Cabbage Patch doll that I had, she's literally just the white version, but a brown skin tone.
But
That's it. So Cabbage Patch, how old am I?
we won't tell, no.
But I just decided that, I didn't see any Black plush dolls on the market. So I saw Black linen dolls. There's molded dolls that are Black, but
Yes.
there's not as many plush that I saw that
Hmm.
I thought was really
Hmm.
cute. So I said, well, I just went online and I started typing in how to make a doll, and Chinese companies started coming up.
Right.
So they said contact me. So I started contacting them, asking them how much for a sample, and I
Right.
didn't have any schematics for her. All I had were the pictures that my illustrator drew. So I
Okay.
sent a front and a back. They sent back some samples, and I was like, well, how much does it cost? Sure, let's do it. So
Right.
it just was simply, I looked up how to do it, and I just followed the steps, literally.
Wow, that's very creative. It's so funny because I remember when I was doing the plus size dolls with my friend Audrey, the big beautiful dolls. I pretty much did that too. There was nobody
Yes.
really who was doing,
No.
especially dolls that were like mine, like the ones that we created.
Right.
And I literally just went into the toy aisles and I started flipping over all the boxes on the vinyl dolls. And I was like,
Yes.
okay, who manufactured this? And there was a company that was in Maryland called Integrity Toys, and
Oh,
we cold called them. We were like, hey, we want to
yes.
create this doll, do you have time to spend with us? And sometimes, like you said, you have to go and just do it. You have to just do
Yes.
the action, whether you know anything about it or not. And I really applaud you for that, because that step alone will be like, can be kind of devastating for people. Like, oh my gosh, I can't find the right person. I can't find the right company. How do I get this started? And so many people have these ideas in their heads. And it's so good to see that you took this, because people were asking for it. And you said, I've never done it before, but guess what? I'm going to do it
And there you
regardless,
go. And
Yeah.
the amazing thing is that, and I tell people all the time, when people ask me questions all the time about the whole process, if
Yes.
you start the process, God will bring somebody in your life to continue the process for you, help you, whatever. And so I had all these samples, and this is a true story. So I found this girl on Instagram, and she crocheted, and I
Hmm.
said, "You crochet a doll?" Because the Chinese people, the manufacturers in China said all these things, and I can't do all that right now. So this was Justine prototype number one.
Oh, it's
She
cute though.
stitched her and she mailed her to me. And I said, that's pretty good. I was like, she's pretty cute. Then I found these people in Peru who knitted dolls. So then they made this version. And I was like, that
Oh,
looks nice. I was like, not easy, but we're getting warmer.
okay.
Then I found somebody in China who said, we can do a really quick sample. But this don't judge my baby. But this is the Chinese version of her.
No.
We're getting there. And then finally I'll show you guys in a second. I found the people I could do that one with. But in my search, in my journey of all the different Justines,
Right.
I found a company and a young lady, African-American company called the Toy Creators Academy.
Yes, I love her. She was on one of the other shows that I was doing. I love her. I'm going to have her back. Yes,
please,
Azhelle. Yes.
Azhelle is the truth.
Yes,
I
she
had
is.
to find her. So my journey with the doll was about 2.5 years. I found Azhelle about a year into my figuring it out on my own journey.
Okay.
Yeah, her connection to the toy industry. You know, she worked with Toys R Us, or very high up on the sales chain. She has so many patents. She is a treasure trove of information. And her program was so affordable. Some people's programs, I'm like, I can't afford that even on my good month.
Right. You're a teacher, girl. Look.
Right. I'm like, I'll talk to you in 6 months. No, she was fantastic. So we actually did a consultation first. I said, well, let me just talk to this lady before I invest, any more money into something else. And we got on the call. She herself got on the call. Looked at the 3 versions I had. She told me to stop making stuff. She said, I'm gonna need you to stop making stuff. And she was like, let me give you a list of people to reach out to. I've already vetted them, call them, contact. So if it wasn't for her, I don't know where I would be, in this state.
Right.
So she definitely was a blessing. And there's so much to this making a doll game.
Girl, I know it is.
You don't just look at it and be like, oh, this is so cute. Like there's so much to learn.
So many components of that. And so many things you have to really consciously think about. That you don't think about. I have this conversation with dollpreneurs all the time. And I think a lot of times people say, I want to make a doll, I want to do this. And I don't think first they know the actual investment that it takes to bring a doll to market, and then forget about marketing it. It's just a whole nother beast, so
marketing is the wildest part.
yeah. So when you entered the doll industry or the toy industry, I should say, creating a doll, plush doll, and you learned about all those things, what surprised you the most, about that? Because I know you probably had no clue what that meant, right? So what surprised you the most?
The 2 things that surprised me the most were definitely the cost, the self-investment, if you have to do it on your own, if you don't have, if you're not in a licensee agreement. And the second was how many people associate so much negativity with a brown face on a doll package.
Wow.
And how they assume that it's not going to appeal to the masses because it's a Black doll. I mean, we get it all the time with the characters. So many people for as many people as love the book, there is as many people who walk by and they give us a stinky face because it's Black characters. They haven't even read it because it's a good story. They haven't even read it. They haven't seen the quality of illustration, nothing, but just the physical turns some people off. Not all, but some.
Right.
And some people are really surprised at how children of other ethnicities and other genders, they think it's only a girl brand. People are usually surprised at how many people say, oh my God, mommy, she's so pretty, who don't look like us. People are usually shocked by that. And I'm like, well, that's the universal appeal to the story. It's not about the outside. It's about how people feel on the inside about their mother. And that's what some people are missing.
You would think we've been doing dolls for so long that people would just be okay with the fact that dolls and stories come in every color. You know what I mean? And they're all very much connected.
That's it. It's the
what I mean? It's the human side of that. It's all connected. And the fact that we're still having these issues, like you said, about having brown dolls or faces on, products is just mind blowing to me. In 2024, it really is. It really is.
Sad, but that actually propels us. Anytime my mother and I are in an environment where people are being that type of way, we always have a great sales day.
Yeah.
So that's how we know it's going to be a good day. We're like, oh, got a hater in the midst. We're going to do good today, Mama.
Yes.
Get your gas money.
It's so true. When Audrey and I were doing the dolls shows back in, this was 1999, 2000, it was very much like that. There were not very many African-American dolls, especially in the vinyl industry, right? In the fashion doll world. And what we found was very interesting because people would talk to us when they thought we were selling the product and somebody else did it.
Yes.
when they found out we were the creators and the owners of that, the
Change the
conversation was
conversation.
so different.
Yes.
So
Why
it's
is that?
really so interesting.
So 24 years later, it's exactly the same.
It's right. This is what I'm saying.
Two different coasts, two different people shared experience. What is that about? That's how you know it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. It really is. But we could be down that rabbit hole forever. But anyway, let's talk about this. Balancing your career and your creativity and your business, right? As a teacher, I know you don't have a lot of time because you're either creating lessons, you're doing things, even during the summer. I'm sure you still focus on being a teacher for the next year coming. So how does you creating this book and a doll now, how does that balance in your life and how do you manage that balance?
So if I'm being honest with you, it's not too much of a balance right now.
Okay.
I'm tired. Just sleepy. But I have 2 full-time jobs. And I accept that because this is my future. Like, I know this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going to retire from. This is where I'm going to be 90 years old, still doing this.
Nice.
This is an industry with no age on it, in my opinion. I work, I get to work about 7:15. So 7:15 to about 5 every day at school. And then I come home from about 6 until midnight, and I work on this stuff, whether I'm returning calls, emails, packaging dolls up, chop off at the post office the next day. It's, I work a full day. I work until at least midnight every day. And then Saturdays and Sundays, I usually have events, interviews or events. So at a minimum, I work about 6 days a week at a minimum. And then some have to work 7 because I have events. And right now I'm not at a phase in my company where I can say no to too many opportunities, because we need the exposure. We have to get out there. And so I accept that. I'm not afraid of hard work because I know that, it won't be much longer where I have to work 6 and 7 days a week. So it's a little unbalanced right now, but I'm still, teaching is easier because I'm 19 years into being a teacher. So I have everything worked out. It doesn't really require too much thinking on my part anymore, just the preparation and the organization. But this is my love right here. Like, I am so in love with this whole journey. So it's work, but I don't feel like it's hard work, even though it's
not work. Right. Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Right. So it keeps you inspired. I was going to ask you, like, how do you stay inspired and keeping your creativity flowing? Especially when you do face challenges with your business or growing it or marketing it. But I guess, like you were saying, it's a part of love that you have for that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're never selling this IP. I might sell some other IPs in the future, but this stays in the family. But I think my creativity and my inspiration, I'm starting to get pictures now from people around the nation and around the world. We just sold a couple dolls in Australia and London. I'm starting to get
congratulations. That's awesome.
I'm so excited. Thank you. It's the pictures of the little girls and the videos that I'm getting of them holding the doll, sleeping with the doll, taking her to taking her to get a burger. I'm getting all these adorable pictures, and that's what's like, okay, so I wasn't wrong. It's a validation, and it's I don't know. It's my motivation to keep on pushing her out there, because I know we deserve little girl dolls that are cute, that look like us, that can be a part of our childhood. We deserve that.
Yeah.
And I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's so true. Are you planning on expanding any more dolls out of the characters, or where else do you plan on going with this?
Oh, we're gonna take it to the moon, a la luna. We're going to the top. So right now we have Justine. Oh, sorry, I've been talking about her, but I haven't shown her.
I love her pigtails. Oh my gosh, she reminds me of my cousin. It's so funny when she was little.
I think universal hairstyle, whether we got the puffs or the braids. We only get 2 options. No, so we have Justine. We have her sister Shayla in the book, so we're gonna do a Justine combo, and then we're going to do a mom. So I wanted to have a 3-pack plush.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, so I wanna do that. That's the goal for 2025, is to get a mom and a Shayla out, and a box version of them. So we want to do a book plush combo for people. So this will be our little Christmas thing. And then I want to do like molded doll. I want a molded Justine with the voice box who speaks Spanish. So that's the 5, because I know that one's going to be another adventure.
So expensive. I was just going to ask you, were you going to transition to like a vinyl type of doll? But you have a great coach, so I know getting to that next step will, it'll still be challenging, but I think it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, so I was kind of already starting to do some research on that. And so I've seen 2 dolls that probably are a little more cost effective. They have a plush face, but with a voice box is a molded body and plush leg.
Okay.
So that might be something that's a little bit more economical. We'll see. You never know how this is going to blow up. maybe I'll just be able to write that check in a year or two and be like, oh, send it over.
That's
so,
a dollpreneur's dream, let me tell you.
It is that, or somebody can license this. If you want to license it, I'm down with it, Mattel. You just the right deal. You got the right paperwork. I'm not against it. I'm not, that independent if you want to license it. But
That's
but
funny.
yeah, it's a beautiful journey, and I'm open to many things. I'm open. I don't want to be closed. I want to see how far God wants to take this and use me to fulfill whatever the mission is here. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get it. Very excited to read it and to have it sent to my grandbaby, because that's gonna be. She said, "Cha-ching, let's ring this up today. Let's get this done."
No, I'm gonna send you as a thank you. I'm gonna send you some stuff, so don't you worry about that.
Oh, thank you. Okay, you don't have to do that, but thank you.
No, this is a blessing to me. You don't even know. I used to fight to have to get people to even talk to us about this. So just to have somebody say to me, "Hi, would you like to?" Yes, I would. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you so much.
So now you coming from transitioning to authors to dollpreneur, like what advice do you have for other people who are who are watching the show and have some amazing books that they want to transition or create dolls out of? Like what would be the words of encouragement for them? Because it's still challenging no matter what, going into business and being an entrepreneur from not being an entrepreneur. What would you like to share with them?
I think I would tell people to take your time and learn the industry. Go to as many events as you can that are related to toys, whichever toy version you want to make, whether it's a plush, a hard doll, if you want to make, whatever it is that you want to make. I would say do your research, attend events, go into stores like we were talking about earlier, turn over boxes. I have literally about 200 or 300 pictures of different doll boxes where I'm measuring, or I'm seeing what the language is, what's the font on this, and I'm taking pictures. I'm going back to figure out what the font was, or and don't be afraid to get creative. Sometimes you can only make the one. I had the sample for a long time. Raise money off the sample. See if there's any, you can get any type of investment off of a sample. But take your time. And if it takes you 2 years to get the doll made, then it takes 2 years. If it takes you 3 years, then it takes you 3 years. There's no rushing it if you're going to do it right. And you want to come out the gate with something that's strong. It's not going to be perfect out the gate, because I see stuff now that I'm like, I probably could do this better. That would be version number 2. But one, you got to get started. One, you got to know that this is a journey. This is not a destination. I know that sounds cliche, but it's really true. Like, this is something that's going to be alive and evolving year after year after year. And you have to go with it. But if you know for sure this is something you're committed to doing, and there's a good reason behind it, then everything that you need is going to fall into place. And if you need some help, find Azhelle Wade, because she's she's gonna help that journey out a little bit.
So true. So many times I've been thinking about calling her, for some project, but I just, I wanted to just go ahead and get my podcast started again, because I understand what you're saying about making sure that you just take the action and stay committed to what it is that you really want to do, whether it takes you 6 months or 12 months or 18 months. And I think a lot of times when we get excited about something, we see the vision and we just want to make it happen right then and there, And so sometimes when you do run up against those stopping points, it is an opportunity for you to decide, okay, you know what, am I really passionate about this? And is this something I really want to have happen? Because if it is, you do have to commit the time and the passion and deal with the challenges and the triumphs, because there's triumphs with all that, too, as well. Yes.
I don't want people to think it's all, terrible. No, you're absolutely correct.
No, it's not.
So many wonderful moments in this process, and you get validated along the journey. You get so validated and you're like, okay, but it's work. And people don't realize how much work I do. Like, people see me on Instagram and, taking cute pictures with kids and walking around, and people are like, oh my God, so much fun. There's a lot of work before this picture got taken. Like, there was some sweating in the car. There was things that dropped and broke, and, and there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of money involved. I get paid once a month, full disclosure. And on this once a month, we do all that we can. So, but it's necessary, it's needed. And our children deserve to see themselves in everything that's positive. They deserve to know, if you want to be a superhero, go be a superhero. We got it in our skin. We can do it. If you want to be a surfer, go be a surfer. If you want to make dolls, go make dolls. whatever it is, our children need to know that that's okay.
Yeah.
And that we celebrate them in all those different ways and varieties. And they have to see it in their dolls and their books and their speech and, all their images. So
Yes, representation is important. It doesn't,
yeah,
in every aspect, every aspect of everything that's happening within business, within entrepreneurship, within science, within whatever it is, inventing. It's important to see the people that look like you. And the cool thing about it is that you have a book that it doesn't represent just what people look like, also represents what people sound like. Because other people have their own language, their own vocabulary, you know what I mean? And so you celebrating that in one book, and I think that is so really so powerful too.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I never thought about it like that, but you're right. I mean, you're spot on. You are spot on. Making this doll, it's changed my life in so many
Oh, I was going to ask you that.
ways.
How has it been for you making this
Yeah.
doll?
Oh, man. It just reminded me that I can do whatever my creator gives me a little hint of. I'm like, I think I can do that. I know I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's given me an appreciation for my mother that's been exponential. I've
Yes.
always appreciated her, but now I'm like, dang, you really are a superhero. Like, this is crazy. She just turned 71, looking fine
That's
and
so great.
doing well. And
She must be so proud of you though.
yeah, she's embarrassingly proud of me. But my sister and I feel the same about her. We are too proud of her because all of this literally is for her and from her life and her life choices. And we just wanted to make that second half of her life as memorable and make it count just as much as the first half of her life did. And so I'm living her right now, just so when we're out and people want her to take pictures and they want her to sign books, I just sit there, I'm tickled pink because, we're a family from South Central Los Angeles. And this just wasn't something that we even conceptualized. So the other day she said to me, we were flying back from Atlanta, as a matter of fact, and for an event. And she said, I never imagined any of this kind of stuff. And I looked at her and I looked at my mom doesn't talk like that. So I was like, imagine what? And she's just like all of this. She's like books and pictures and dolls. She was like, I couldn't even imagine this, coming from the
Yeah.
South. And so it's like, wow, like,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, just to know that at 71, she's experiencing something that's brand new. That's for her,
Right. But it's wow, that just touched me so much right there. Okay, I'm gonna get emotional right now. Wow. Okay. That's really because I look at that like if my son did something like that for me. And I'm not saying they do amazing things, but just to know that she felt that after all the years of doing what she does as a mom,
yes,
that's respected and that, you guys revere her as being, your superhero. And I think every parent, I think every child can feel that way no matter how old you are. You know what I mean? You could think about
right,
that as
across the
from
stage.
your mother, right? You could think about that from you looking at your mother, but you could also think about that from you looking at your child if you have children and hopefully how they see you. So I think
And
that's
that's the
really, really
universal appeal.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the appeal, which people, we were talking earlier, which people, they don't, on, I guess on first, in Spanish, we say primera vista, like la primera vista, at first look, you're just like, eh. But if you read the title, I've had grown men read the title, and then they double back and they're just like, my mom is too, and they'll keep walking. So it's that humanness that I think is what's going to propel everything forward. It's just that human factor and just that love,
Yes.
of your mom.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that you had that idea to bring that love, out of you for your mom and for every other mom out here, really. It's not just, it's personal, but it's very universal for you now. And I think
Yeah,
you're
it's really
seeing that, I think you're definitely seeing that. So I'm so excited to watch your journey. I'm
yeah.
so excited to like read your book. I'm so excited for you, for you and your mom and your sister to have something that's a legacy for you and your family. That's a
Absolutely.
beautiful thing. And I think it's very, very important, and very much needed. So thank you so much. I really appreciate all your work.
Oh, you're filling my bucket for the week. So I will think of you on Tuesday when the kids are not listening. I'm like, on Sunday I was talking to Georgette. It was
And
great. Yeah. So I appreciate it.
here's another part of my real life, like, okay.
My real life when I'm not taking pictures and stuff.
Yes. That's
I'm
great.
like, I do have a real life people. I'm like, this is fun, but I do have a mind. People are always surprised that I work full time as a teacher, and because I do so much with this, people are surprised. You're like, you go to work every day? I'm like, yes, at 7 a.m. I'm, driving to
Right.
school. I'm like, yes, I have a full-time
Yes.
job. You gotta be disciplined.
Yeah, you have to be disciplined. You really do, especially when you're running a business. I mean, because it's not
Yes.
just, and that's the other thing too. Like you want to be a doll creator and even an author. People say, I want to write a book. I want to do a doll. That's great,
Right.
but it is a business. And if you don't
It
treat
is.
it like a business and learn how to treat it like a business, because you don't come to the forefront,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing a 9 to 5, you don't come to the forefront and be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to be an entrepreneur. I mean, you may think about it, but it's a lot of work, a lot of sacrifices, especially when you're a solo one. It can be really a
but
challenging journey. So.
it is. It's a lot of sacrifice, and there's a lot of things I've missed out on doing the last 4 or 5 years with friends and family because I'm like, I can't. I gotta be. I can't make it. So if you're going into this, you're going into it. There's some glory to it. There's some fun stuff, but it's work, and it is a business. And if you go into it thinking this is a business that is my passion project, as people say, then it will feel different than just,
Yes.
I made a doll. So
yeah, that's so true. Tell everybody where they can find your beautiful book. My Mother is a Superhero, and your doll, Justine. Share where they can find you at so they can reach out to you.
Oh, we love that. So we are on Amazon. So let me put them both together. So the book and the doll are both on Amazon. We prefer if you buy them from us, though. So you can find us online at www.mymotherisaSuperhero.com. That's our website. And then obviously you can always reach out to me on Instagram under the same name, My Mother is a Superhero. And, we have a whole trilogy coming out. So we have a second book. Her teacher is also a superhero.
Aww.
So we're that one here. And then her dad is a superhero. So we're illustrating that one right now. So we're going to come out with a whole. Yeah, we wanted to make sure because the character in the book, she's not a single mother in the book. Now, real life, yes, I did grow up with a single mother, but I want my character to have a mother and a father. So she does, which is funny because people always say, where's the daddy? He's there. He was in the picture in the background. She's not daddyless. Just because I don't want that,
Right. No, I get that. Because there are some dads who are very, very, very much involved in the raising of their children. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And we don't want to, propel that myth. But when you get Justine in the mail, she comes in a cute little box. She comes in her box. So and then on the back is the story of my mother and I. So that's a picture of Mom and I from the 70s. And it's in English and Spanish on the back. And so, yeah, she is ready to go home with you around the world and become your little one's best friend. She is 12 inches. She's a 12-inch plush. She's very soft, very squishy.
Oh, cute.
And she is, all safety tested and ready to go. So she's ready to come home with whoever wants her. We are so proud of her. And we hope this is just the beginning for us. So.
Well, it is just the beginning for you. Don't worry.
Thank you, friend. I appreciate you. Look, I'm gonna come to Atlanta and come get them to have lunch.
Yeah, yes, please. When you come to Atlanta, let me know. I would love to do that. I really would love to do that. So
I love to be friends in different places. My family always makes fun of me because I have a friend almost everywhere around the world. Like,
that's so cool.
People are always like, how are you? I'm like, I don't know. I'm that kind of person.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I love your spirit. Very much like me, very open to having conversations and, meeting new people and things like that. So, I mean, I would so do lunch with you in a heartbeat. Well, I want to say thank you so much to you, CJ, for being on the Dollpreneur Podcast. I'm so excited to start this new journey of my life too. And I'm so excited for people to get to see you, to see what you're about, and also to listen to your journey and purchase your beautiful doll and your book. Because I think it's really something that's very powerful and something that's still needed, obviously, based on our conversation earlier, something that's still needed to have us be represented in a positive light, and not just in the book, but also in life and in business. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I couldn't be happier to be here. Thank you, everybody. And if you have any questions about how to make dolls, how to make books, please feel free to reach out. I'm always here to answer questions. No gatekeeping on. So.
Well, I'm sure they will. No problem. Thank you again for being on the Dollpreneur Podcast. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining us at the Dollpreneur Podcast. We really hope you enjoyed the episode and feel inspired by our amazing guests, as well as learn something new about the creative people within the doll community. So don't forget to visit our website at www.thedollpreneurpodcast.com for more content. And please, we would love for you to stay connected to us. So please subscribe to the Dollpreneur Podcast newsletter, YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook pages. And they can all be found at the website, www.thedollpreneurpodcast.com. Thank you again for listening to the Dollpreneur Podcast. And until next time, have a doll fabulous day.